Hey, so it's Riley. Yeah, I'm building a project. Been building it for a while, and something about building software, web development. Every time people do things, you end up kind of reinventing the wheel. And I can't tell you how many times I've rolled my own JavaScript framework or React framework, or trying to find different ways to use Next.Js and all these different ways to hydrate and static site and SSR, and you realize it becomes its own thing. And remember when I first started learning web development, I kept hearing, hey, don't learn a framework, learn the language first. Don't learn a framework, learn the language first. And that makes sense, because at the end of the day, you realize that a lot of these things are all doing the same thing, and some of the stuff even becomes unnecessary, becomes kind of vaporware. So I've been working on a project lately, and I decided so it's Rust backend, MVC, uses a framework called Rusty Road, which is Actix behind the scene, a templating language called Terra. It's just another templating language, and that's basically it. So I built a lot of it, using Terra, and it's not the worst thing in the world, but sometimes you want to use some cool JavaScript libraries or whatever, so you decide to use React, or at least I did. And before that, I was just using vanilla JavaScript, and then it's just like, React makes it easy to make all these different components and stuff, so let's just go with it. So I did that, and then you kind of realize that, oh man, if I'm building UI in React, this takes a while to load. So I kind of just sacrificed my load time for interactivity, I guess. And at the end of the day, it's taking a little too long to load. So you're kind of decreasing your server times, and your lighthouse scores are just going down and down and down. So I tried to hydrate it and use React hydration. I don't know if you tried to use React hydration before, but it just ends up becoming an issue, because it needs to match the server exactly. And if you're not doing the server from the base HTML, the root HTML file, or from the top div, basically, it just becomes incoherent for React to understand. Now, here's the nuances that I wanted to get into. The number one reason why this is an issue is because React has a virtual DOM. So no matter how many times you try to get your personal DOM to match React's virtual DOM, it's just not going to work. So that's what I ended up doing. I was like, working on it for, I just lost half a day basically trying to get React hydration to render. And at the end of the day, what I'm realizing is, I went through, tried all these different ways to match the HTML and blah, 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 blah. So I just said, screw it. Took the React hydration out. And I'm using Google Lighthouse, right, to kind of check everything. So I took React hydration out. And then, what do you know, my scores go from 60 to 90. All because I left the HTML in the root div on the Terra template. So it's sped up because I left the HTML there and I disabled React hydration. And, oh, by the way, did you know that all of my React implementation still took effect. So I don't know what the hell that hydration library is doing. And at the end of the day, I don't know what the hell React is doing, because other than just making nice components, which you can use web components for that, it's not really doing anything. So when you take the framework out of the way, when you take the Next.js out of the React, what are you left with? It's another JavaScript library, and it's not even necessary. Like, at the end of the day, unless you're trying to write your own templating language with React, you really don't need it. So don't use React.